What's happening, everybody? Coming to you from home here in Las Vegas, and we're here to recap week 16 of the NFL. It was an awesome week. I mean, aside from some of the matchups, game wise, this might have been the best week of the whole season. It started off Thursday. Thursday was probably the game of the year because the Rams and the Seahawks put on a show. It was a great game. Really, it changed on the special teams play by the Seahawks. That punt return touchdown changed everything at that. I mean, the Seahawks looked dead at that point. It looked like the Rams were going to win that game. It looked like the narrative on Sam Darnold was going to be the same, where he can't come through in big games. But that punt return gave them life. They had to get a 2-point conversion. Then they had to score another touchdown, get another 2-point conversion. And ultimately, it was just a great game. It went into overtime. The Seahawks get it done in OT. They win it 38-37. Stafford was lights out, 457 yards passing. Puka Nacua had 225 receiving. Again, change the narrative on the Seahawks for now, because in the playoffs, if Darnold plays his first playoff game with the Seahawks and looks like how he did for 3 quarters in this game against the Rams, well, the narrative's coming back that Darnold's just not capable of winning the big games. But for now, put that to bed. The Seahawks take control of the NFC West, and they look great. And honestly, this game was just a lot of fun to watch. Meanwhile, currently, it's not over yet. I got my eyes on the Niners, another team from the NFC West, who's winning on the road in Indianapolis right now. 34-27 is the current score. Obviously, by the time you guys see this, that game will be over. Purdy's playing pretty damn well. He's got 4 touchdowns so far. So, yeah, it's in the fourth quarter. If the Niners hang on to win, that division is insane. That division is essentially the NFC North of last year, where you had the Vikings and the Lions and the Packers, who all had tremendous years last year. This year, it's the NFC West. The Niners, Seahawks, and Rams are all just pretty damn good. All teams that, I mean, I feel like these teams are teams you don't want to play in the playoffs, and it's 3 of them from the same division. I think the Rams are the scariest. The Niners just keep winning somehow, some way. And the Seahawks, Darnold is the only thing that maybe you can hold on to. But if that narrative was completely behind Darnold and he would be the regular season Sam Darnold in the playoffs, the Seahawks are pretty damn scary because their defense is good too. So again, ultimately that division is just insane. All right, the slate though, Saturday we had 2 games. Eagles, Commanders. That one wasn't as exciting, but the Eagles got the job done. Again, they find ways. They win the division. It's the first time in like 20 years that a team has won the NFC East back-to-back years. It's the Eagles. Look, they're Super Bowl champions. They have had a lot of drama going on throughout this year. A.J. Brown seems unhappy all the time. Saquon hasn't seemed to be himself. This game he was. 21 carries, 132 yards, and a touchdown. And yes, it's the Commanders, so you expect them to win 29-18. But ultimately, once the playoffs start, once you get into dance, it's a different story. So we'll see how the Eagles fare in the playoffs. But they got the job done here. The night game, one could argue, was the game of the year as well. I think the Seahawks-Rams game was better. But because of the quality of football. But Packers-Bears, I mean, the Bears coming through at the end, and it was just insane. First of all, they only had, I think, 2 possessions in the first half. So the first half was kind of a stinker for the Bears offense. They really didn't do much. They started off hot, drove down the field, had to settle for a field goal. The Packers offense, same thing. They got in the red zone, and they went 0 for 5 with touchdowns. They didn't get any red zone touchdowns. Jordan Love gets a concussion early on. I think it was the start of the second quarter, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, I mean, then this game turned around with like 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I mean, this looked like the Packers were going to roll. They were up, I think, 16-6. The Bears offense hadn't done anything all game long. And I think then they get a field goal. Yeah, 16-6. They get a field goal when they were trying to get a touchdown, obviously. They needed 2 scores, but they end up getting a field goal. And shout out to Cairo Santos, the Bears kicker, because kicking in those conditions was not easy. Same thing for the Packers kicker. So 16-9, the game's pretty much still feels over because the Packers are about to get the kickoff, which the Bears obviously smartly, you should at this point. They have to kick the onside kick. And it hits Romeo Doubs in the hands, and he drops it. The Bears recover, gives them life. Now Caleb Williams on the offense drives down the field. It was not a pretty drive. I mean, they stalled out at one point, and the Packers, it was the right call, but the Packers got a face mask on Caleb, gave the Bears new life, for a new fresh set of downs, and they took advantage of that. Caleb with an incredible play on 4th and 4. So it took another 4 downs once they got there, but they got it done. They tie the game with like 20 seconds left. Smart on Ben Johnson not to go for 2. I'm tired of coaches being extra in these situations. And you know what? I will say this about, look, do I think Caleb Williams is a franchise elite quarterback? I do not. I'm very clear about that. You guys can call me a hater all you want, but I am not a hater, in my opinion, because I'm willing to give credit where it rightfully should go. And to me, I'm like, the credit for this Bears turnaround should be Ben Johnson, because that guy, from what I've seen, is a hell of a coach. So again, maybe you can call me a Caleb Williams hater, but I don't think he's as good as people are hyping him up to be. But I think, Ben Johnson is more than what people are willing to give him, because they are giving credit to Caleb with the fact that I don't think Caleb is that good, when I think Ben Johnson's been doing everything in his power to set up Caleb for ultimate success. I mean, you have a top running tandem in the NFL. The offensive line has been good. So if you have a great offensive line and the top running back tandem, your quarterback should get easy completions all game long. And Caleb's completion percentage is not that great. So to me, that's a sign where I'm like, all right, Caleb's missing guys, or he just doesn't, and this is a good thing about Caleb. He doesn't turn the ball over, but I think that's because in tight windows, he's just not going to put the ball in harm's way, which is great because it keeps the turnovers low. But the elite quarterbacks do that. And Caleb could become that. It's his second year, but that's something that I think is the difference between someone like him and someone like Drake May. Drake May maybe turns the ball over more, but he is willing to go that extra 20 or 10% to make those kind of risky throws, but that he believes he's going to put right in the spot where they need to be for only his guy to catch it, or it's incomplete. Whereas Caleb will just throw it out of bounds, but it's conservative, but I like it because it's better that than a turnover. I think you can win with Caleb Williams. But what Ben Johnson has done, and that was a perfect example for me of the coaching. I think the momentum's with the Bears. They tie the game. It's a 4th and 4, and everyone's feeling like, oh, even the announcers were like, they're going to go for the win. And he kicked the extra point to tie it and send it to overtime. And in overtime, he ran a play that he had previous success with running the ball, which had the Packers all coming downhill. And he got the play action and had DJ Moore in a one-on-one. And Caleb made a terrific throw. I'm not taking that away from Caleb. And DJ Moore came up with it. But again, that is coaching. That is putting your quarterback in positions that he feels comfortable with, which is why, like I said, listen, I'm very, very impressed with Ben Johnson as a head coach. So much that I think he's jumped Kevin O'Connell in that division. He's jumped Dan Campbell in that division. I think he's the second best coach in the NFC North behind Matt LaFleur, who I think has done a phenomenal job as well for all of his years that he's been there. The Packers are always good. They're never getting blown out. They're winning games with Malik Willis. Malik Willis came in this game, and what did Coach LaFleur do? He ran the ball 9 of the next 10 times. He adjusted mid-game, knowing what kind of game plan he went into the game with Jordan Love and how he had to switch it up now with Malik Willis. And you know what? He had this game. They had this one, and you can't coach Romeo Doubs how to catch an onside kick. He dropped it. Bears capitalized. And again, that is a sign of a team that is well coached and that will take advantage of the opportunities that you as an opposing team cannot give them. And good for the Bears. They don't turn the ball over, like I said, and they will make you pay if you do. So smart football, let the other team make mistakes and then capitalize. So that was a hell of a game. I went long talking about that game, but it was really a great game. You got to feel good for Bears fans. They've been waiting for that for a long time, and they clinch a playoff spot because the Lions ended up losing. So good for Chicago. Playoff football is back in Chicago. Whew, that was a lot. All right, let's roll through these quickly. I spent a lot of time talking about the Bears and Packers, but the Bills in Cleveland, look, it's close, 23-20. They get the job done. They're 11-4, but the Patriots are top of the AFC East. And this is the type of game, like I said, it makes me hard to believe in a team like the Bills when they are barely squeaking by a 3-12 team. Like if I'm going to consider you a Super Bowl favorite, you got to be winning against a 3-12 team 30-10. So that was just, kind of a weird game. Chargers at the Cowboys. Chargers doubled up on them, 34-17. The Cowboys season is done. They're eliminated from the playoffs. The Chargers are going to be in the playoffs. Good for them. And you know what? Harbaugh has got them playing good football. And Justin Herbert, 23 for 29, 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's playing good football too. The Titans Chiefs, not much to say there, except Gardner Minshew now comes in and replaces Mahomes, who tore his ACL. And that looks like Minshew tore his ACL too. So just a tough year for the Chiefs. They lose to the 3-12 Titans 26-9. The Bengals win in Miami 45-21. Joe Burrow 25 for 32, 309 yards and 4 touchdowns. Hell of a game for him, but too little, too late. This is what happens when we have a crappy defense. And yeah, the Bengals win 5-10. Great. Saints beat the Jets 29-6. Hey, don't look now, but Tyler Shough might be the best quarterback of this draft class. The guy went 32 for 49, 308 yards and a touchdown. And I'm going to look up his stats because I feel like my eyes don't lie. And I think he's been playing some pretty good football as of late. I'm going to look up his stats in the last few games and just look at his game logs real quick so here we go. So his last 3 starts, which all wins, by the way, for the New Orleans Saints. The last game, 32 for 49, 308 yards, and a touchdown against the Jets. Carolina, they got to win. 24 for 32, 272 yards, a touchdown, no picks. At Tampa Bay, a win, 24-20. He went 13 for 20, 144 yards, had to pick that game, no touchdowns. And the game before that, they lost to Miami, but 26 for 38, 239, 2 touchdowns and a pick. I'm sorry, but, for the year, yes, has he thrown a lot of touchdowns? No, he hasn't. 7 total, 5 interceptions, but, not a terrible completion percentage. And, 66% completion percentage. That's better than Caleb Williams by a good portion, actually. So Tyler Shough, good for you, buddy. Maybe the Saints finally have their guy. Vikings at the Giants, boring game. Vikings win 16-13. JJ McCarthy gets hurt again, so it might be time for the Vikings this offseason to move off him. We'll see how they handle that. I'll do a separate podcast where I talk specifically about the Vikings. Pointless win for them. They're 7-8 now. They're out of the playoffs. The Giants, not much there. Jackson Dart did not look good. He had 33 total passing yards and a net of 14 yards, I think it was, when you include sacks. But he played the Brian Flores defense. There were a couple drops in there. And frankly, I just don't think he's getting coached pretty well. I'm not going to just completely, trash him. He's a rookie quarterback. He needs reps. And he was playing a lot better when Brian Daboll was still with the Giants. All right, Panthers, big win and take control of the NFC South, 23-20 against Tampa Bay. What is going on with the Buccaneers? This team had Super Bowl aspirations at the start of the year. Everyone thought that they were going to run away with this division pretty much. And the Panthers don't look now, but they are in prime position to win this division. And that's amazing and awesome for the people over there in Charlotte. The Jaguars came in from a small market and sent a statement in Denver. Listen, I love Sean Payton and I love what the Broncos are doing. Bo Nix has been playing good football. He went 28 for 47, 352 and a touchdown. But, hey, Trevor Lawrence has 4 touchdowns. The game before this, he had 5 touchdowns. And you know what? The Jags are 11-4. They're in the playoffs. Yes, they've been in the playoffs before. And, actually, they came back and ended up beating the Chargers. But then they got bounced. And, no one really takes them too seriously. This was a big win. This was a big-time win. It felt like a playoff game watching it. And don't look now, but maybe the Jaguars might be a sleeper team in the AFC. But they get to win 34-20. The Broncos lose out on first place because the Patriots won on Sunday Night Football. So Patriots are in the driver's seat. All right, Falcons take on the Cardinals. They win 26-19. Nothing much to watch here. Bijan Robinson was pretty damn good. But, 2 teams that are going nowhere. The Steelers took on the Lions and they won. Everyone was super confused at the end of this game because the last play of the game was a 4th down in the red zone for the Lions. Goff completes it to Amon-Ra St. Brown. There's a flag. He's getting tackled short of the end zone. He laterals it back to Goff. Goff grabs it and runs in the end zone and gets the touchdown. After like a 5-minute discussion of the referees, this essentially was the last play of the game. There was no more time left, actually, at that point. I didn't think it was as complicated as people made it out to be. First of all, they called the OPI, an offensive pass interference, on Amon-Ra St. Brown. Correct call. So at that point, play's dead. the play's dead because at that point, there's nothing there. That's advantage defense. So now the defense gets to call the shot. They're not going to accept the touchdown. So that part's over with. And the other explanation was, even though Jared Goff got the touchdown after the offensive pass interference, there's 0 time on the clock. So it's not like we're replaying the down, because once the defense accepts the OPI penalty, it's over. That play's done and the clock is where it's at, and it's at 0. So that was the end of the game. Anyways, good for the Steelers. I predicted them to win the AFC North. They are in prime position to do that because Baltimore lost to the Patriots and did not look that good. All right, Texans. Again, so weird with these teams. They beat the Raiders 23-21. But, man, there's a team I'm trying to take serious here, and they're barely squeaking by a 2-13 Raiders team. Just this year, it's this year mostly specifically, but every year in the NFL, this is what's great about it. The parity, and, it's anybody's chance to get to the Super Bowl this year. So the playoffs are going to be incredible. I can't wait. Last game, Patriots-Ravens. Drake May, I can't say enough about this guy. 31 for 44, 380 yards, 2 touchdowns. And, people gave him credit for that touchdown. It was like a 37-yard touchdown pass that he had. I'm looking right here to Kyle Williams, 37-yard touchdown pass in the corner of the end zone. And people are like, well, what a perfectly thrown ball. Look, that's not the play for me that is impressive with Drake May, okay? It's the totality of his performances, because I'm kind of tired of people calling a play like that and saying like, oh, what a great throw by Drake May. Because if that gets intercepted or tipped, or, it was almost double coverage, to be honest. The safety was running to that side. And if that's, tipped, that's like a 50-50 ball with your receiver and the guy. And your receiver, give Kyle Williams the credit he deserves for making Drake May look good on that play. And I'm not hating on Drake May, because I think the Patriots are in an incredible position. They just got themselves another GOAT. I think Drake May, this is the end of his second season in the NFL, and he's arguably close enough to being the face of the NFL. He's that good. 31 for 44. That's like almost 75% completion percentage, 380 yards. So it's not just little 5-yard passes. 2 touchdowns. He threw a pick. Again, I'm not hating on Drake May. It's incredible. I'm talking more big picture. There was another touchdown like this with Joe Burrow. He threw into double coverage to Jamar Chase, who made the catch, and the defenders bump into each other, and then he scores. So when we're going to crap on quarterbacks for throwing into double coverage and giving their elite receiver, a chance, then in situations like this, we can't praise the quarterbacks for doing the same thing, except it's on the receivers at that point. Then you should criticize and praise the receivers for making the play. And that's all I'm saying. I'm trying to give credit here to Kyle Williams for that touchdown. Again, Drake May did his thing, but that was a hell of a catch and a hell of a play there by Kyle Williams. So ultimately, what a fun week 16 in the NFL. Great games. Won't be the same on Christmas Day with the slate we have coming up. What are the 3 games? They're just not good. Niners now are up 41-27. Purdy has 5 touchdowns now. So that NFC West is ridiculous. All right, the Thursday games on Netflix. Cowboys at Commanders. Not a great game. Lions at Vikings. Terrible. You're going to have Max Brosmer probably back there for the Vikings against a Lions team. I guess they're exciting and they should beat up on this Vikings team, but they're on the outside looking in, obviously just lost to the Steelers. So expect that to be a blowout when it's Brosmer probably starting for the Vikings. And then you got the Broncos and Chiefs, who the Broncos obviously need to, make a statement after losing to the Jaguars. And you got the Chiefs starting definitely their third string quarterback. Look at these lines. Dallas is favored by 6.5. Detroit's favored by 6. Denver's favored by 12.5. Oh, it's just terrible. Anyway, we will keep talking some more football as the week goes on. I'll do another podcast right now, and we'll talk about the Minnesota Vikings and what should they do with the whole J.J. McCarthy situation. We'll see. If you care to know about that, watch that episode as well. But thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, all that, comment. And we'll talk and make some predictions for the Sunday matchups, because I mean, I could tell you right now, my predictions for the Thursday games are Cowboys win at Washington, Lions destroy the Vikings if Brosmer is starting, Broncos destroy the Chiefs. That game should be over by halftime. Not much to it. All right, y'all. Enjoy this Christmas week, and I'll talk to y'all soon.